All right. Good evening, you beautiful bastards. We are finally fucking back. Indeed, the return of the Wargames Podcast. We are now on episode 43. This has been a long time coming. We did take a little bit of a break there for a while. Yeah. And joining me tonight is Mr. Patty, who you guys know from the 506. You guys have probably seen him stream, know him as the Tin Man. Also joining me tonight is the man, the myth, the legend, the slightly handsomer version of me, Mr. Shank the Noob. Good evening, gentlemen.
What's up?
So, we were chatting a little bit here before the stream actually started. There's quite a few topics actually that we're going to be covering tonight, and of course, this being the first podcast back, and me being the long-winded sumbitch that I am, this is probably going to be a fairly long one. So, fucking strap yourselves in, grab some liquids, and yeah, be ready. So, first thing I want to talk about tonight is probably something that's on the forefront of, well, at least on my mind, and quite a few other people that I know that are, I guess, somewhat engrossed in the world of Blizzard, and that is the whole Diablo fucking controversy shit that's going on right now. For any of you guys that don't know what Diablo is or anything like that, Diablo is kind of the traditional dungeon crawler, grindy, loot game, if you will. Originally started over 20 years ago now. One of my favorite fucking games. Diablo 3 came out a few years back. I've played it since release. You guys have seen it here on the channel, here and there. Usually pick it up once a season or so. It was recently announced that a new Diablo title is coming. Well, it was announced a while ago that a new Diablo title was being worked on. We all figured it was going to be announced at BlizzCon. It was. It was not, however, what all of us expected. As I said, Diablo 3 released a while back. It has grown, actually, in popularity since its release. It's still pretty damn popular. Every new season, the player count, spikes for a short bit as people like me come back and start playing it again for the new season. However, they have decided that the new direction they want to go with Diablo is to the realm of mobile. Now, for reference, Diablo has always been a PC title. Always. Diablo 3 is on console, but it was released 3 or 4 years later on console than what it was on PC. But yeah, it has always been a PC title. And actually, I think, was Diablo 2? Diablo 2 might have been released on console as well. I can't remember for sure. I only ever played it on PC.
I don't think so. Diablo 1 was released on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, yep.
But I don't think D2 ever made a debut on a console.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyways, as I said, it's always been on PC. And now they have decided to go the mobile route. They haven't said anything yet in terms of pricing or microtransactions or anything along those lines. People did ask about it at BlizzCon. They asked if we were going to see microtransactions and so on, and they gave kind of their standard response of, we focus on gameplay and getting the game done first, and then we figure out the business model of it, which is complete bullshit. They're not going to approve a game for fucking year or however long development without having any type of business model for it. So they have one. They just aren't going to, tell us what it is yet, obviously. So I got to ask your guys' opinion on it. Patty, I don't know how much, if at all, you play Diablo. I know Shank plays Diablo. I guess I'll ask you first, Shank, what was your first What was your initial reaction when you seen that announcement that Diablo was going mobile?
So the the we did talk about this before we
Yes.
started broadcasting, and my attitude is the pockets of shareholders can only contain so much gold lining. The arrogance of the arrogance of the presentation, the reaction of the crowd, and the doubling down from the stage, asking people, what, do you guys not have cell phones? Yes, motherfucker, babies are born with cell phones now.
Right? It's like womb to Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your life exists on a phone. I mean, we're just going to get to the point where babies come out, they give you a little injection in the side of your head, and you have a cell phone implanted behind your ear. And this guy has the audacity to double down on an already pissed off crowd. And I even told you, Brewer, before we went live, I wholly believe that this is something that Kotick had a hand in, because he has been quoted as saying, we believe in creating intellectual properties that can be exploited for years. Now, for those of you with their head in the sand on the gaming industry, exploited for years means raping your wallet. And that's exactly what I see Diablo Immortal doing.
So, to, I guess, get into this a little bit more, what Shank was referencing there is, there's clips all over the place. I'm not going to show you guys a bunch of clips or anything. But at BlizzCon, when they announced this, there's a huge crowd in the hall. They announce Diablo Immortal. Now, to give you a little bit of backstory here, like I said, we had been told that a Diablo project was in the works. Everyone assumed that it was Diablo 4, because again, Diablo 3 has been a success. It has continued to gain ground and so on. Everybody was expecting Diablo 4. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say everyone was expecting Diablo 4. Now,
yeah,
as I said, the hall was packed, completely full. The thing you have to keep in mind, to go to BlizzCon, you have to pay for tickets. So all of these people paid to go there. And this was the big announcement. This was their final announcement of BlizzCon. This is what everyone was there for. So all of the people that are in this crowd have paid to be there. And more likely than not, they're there for this announcement because it's the big, story of the weekend. And they announce Diablo Immortal, tell everyone it's going to be a mobile game. Obviously, there's a lot of negative reactions in the crowd. I'm not even going to say mixed, because I'm not sure I heard a single person go, woo, mobile. So, they had people get up there and ask questions and so on. And these questions are pre-screened. Fluffy, Lord Fluffy, one of the kind of prominent Diablo streamers, did a video on this and explained kind of how they screen the questions and so on. Basically, if you have a total douchebag question, they're going to pull you out of the fucking line. So they ask you what your question is ahead of time. And Fluffy got up there and asked some very legitimate questions. Are we going to see any of the gameplay mechanics that you showed us in this video for the mobile version? These are mechanics that we've been asking for in Diablo 3 in the PC version for years now. Are we going to see any of these mechanics transported over to PC? To which the answer was no, this is purely mobile based. So, not really a great answer there. And then he asked if at any point would we ever see Immortals ported over to PC, so that those of us that don't want to play on a mobile device can play on PC. And the answer was no. And at that point, the entire crowd let out a big fucking boo. And it was everyone. And it was, it was pretty noticeable that everyone was upset. So then another guy got up there to ask a question. Everyone is calling him Red Shirt Guy. He got up there, and as Fluffy said in his video when he was explaining it, he obviously lied to the screener, the community manager, when he said what his question was, because they never would have let him get up there and ask this question.
I just put the link to that clip in your chat.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you. So yeah, he got up there and asked if this was an off-season April Fool's joke. Now, the reason why that question hits so close to the head of the nail for a lot of us is a few years back, like 2014, maybe 2015, Blizzard actually posted an April Fool's joke stating that they were releasing a Diablo 3 mobile game. And of course, everybody was and ripped it apart and so on and so forth. And, that would be fucking stupid. And God, that would suck and so on and so forth. They actually did that as an April Fool's joke a few years ago.
Yep.
And now they're actually doing it. So, a lot of people were like, oh, that guy's a dick, and fucking a lot of people are calling, saying that people are entitled and this and that. And it's like, dude, you can say that these upset fans are entitled pieces of shit or whatever all you want. But the fact that the company itself did this as a fucking April Fool's joke just a few years ago should tell you how big of a slap in the face it is that they are actually doing it now. And that's where I have the problem. I don't give a shit if they want to make a mobile game. I've always been someone that said, hey, make whatever fucking game you want. If I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. It's a pretty fucking simple equation, right? It's not a Holmes level fucking mystery here. If I think your game is dog shit, I'm not going to give you my money. Where I have a problem is how much they misled everybody into, basically thinking that this was going to be Diablo 4. They obviously seen and heard the fucking rumors and everybody saying, okay, we're going to get the Diablo 4 announcement at BlizzCon, so on and so forth. And they made no effort whatsoever to quell those rumors and say, hey, no, guys, it's not going to be Diablo 4. Don't get your hopes up. You'll only be disappointed. This is not going to be a, sequel to Diablo, so on and so forth. No, they let that run and let everybody get hyped up for it, which ended up biting them in the ass because now people are fucking pissed that there is no Diablo 4 coming and that it's a mobile game. So much so that if you go watch the reveal trailer for Diablo Immortals on YouTube, it has like 400,000 some dislikes and like 2.7k likes. Which, as I was telling Shank before we went live, makes that fucking Call of Duty video look like pretty good fucking marketing at this point. So, I guess the next question I have is, are you going to play it?
Me personally, this is kind of answering your last question along with this question. I'm not a huge fan of mobile games, especially main title mobile games. So like when Titanfall 2 did their shit with mobile, and when anything like big like that came out, I think the only thing that I ever played on mobile that I thoroughly enjoyed myself on was Hearthstone, which was a Blizzard game nonetheless. Mm-hmm. But I for whatever reason, like that felt like it was supposed to be a mobile game. It's not something you could have played on console and been like, oh, this is perfect on console. But no, I mean, I haven't played Diablo very long. I've played a little bit of Diablo 3. I can't say that it's going to be something that I'm going to be wanting to play or be like, biting at the bit to buy. And just kind of offhanded here, the company tactics that you were talking about, like where they allowed the rumors to spread and basically get hype. And as far as I'm concerned right now, Blizzard's kind of sitting in the same boat as Activision right now, and EA. Those boys are, I feel like they're kind of like
and
the
that
douchebag gaming company.
I won't put them in the same basket as EA quite yet, because of the history and the knowledge that I have when it comes to Blizzard, and the years of history that I have with them. I know they have some genuinely passionate fucking employees, guys that truly love what they do, love that company, and love the games that they work on. They have had a bit of a rough patch as of late with some prominent members of the community leaving Blizzard and so on. But there are still guys, and there's still guys that work on Diablo that are very, very passionate about that title and about that game and the community itself. But they are not in a position to, make the decisions that need to be made, basically. My thought on it, in terms of, their decision to go mobile and so on, is if you take a look at kind of the big happenings as of late in terms of gaming and so on, and kind of one of the names that you see and hear a lot is a company known as Tencent. And for any of you that don't know, Tencent now owns, I believe it's PUBG. They bought Bluehole or whatever the fuck it is. Tencent is the largest game publisher in China. I believe it's China, yeah. They are a multi-billion-dollar company. It is massive. They are most prominently known for mobile games. That's where they made their money, is mobile games. And they made a lot of fucking money. And I can only assume that Blizzard took a look at their kind of business model and said, hey, we want a slice of this fucking pie. Which is what makes it so goddamn disappointing, because it does very, very much so seem like they are not listening to what the community wants at all. They are listening to what the board members want, more specifically what their fucking wallets want. Which again, generally I don't have a problem with. It's a business. They're there to make money. But when your attempt to make money is misleading those that you're attempting to make money from, that's a huge problem. And I would not be surprised at all to see this title do exactly what the last title in one of my most fucking beloved game franchises did, and that is disappear. And that was Command and Conquer. Everyone was expecting, they said there was a new title coming to Command and Conquer. I mean, it was almost fucking word for word, step by step. Blizzard did exactly what EA just did with Command and Conquer. Everyone was expecting a Command and Conquer successor, a whole new title in the franchise, and they announced a fucking mobile game. Everybody shit on it, and they said, yep, Command and Conquer's dead. We're done with it.
Can we have a 5 seconds of silence for Westwood Studios?
Yeah. It was a sad, sad day when Westwood servers shut down.
Oh my god, dude. Westwood Studios was like, when I was a kid, Westwood Studios was like the CD Projekt Red of that day. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean they were fucking gods, immortal, and they could not be stopped. And Emperor Palpatine fucking took them over.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it on here before. My brother and I were beta testers for Westwood, for CNC, from Tiberium Sun up through Renegade. So we had Tiberium Sun, we had Firestorm, There was another project that they were working on before Renegade. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. We got the beta for it.
They were gonna have the Tiberium shooter too.
Yeah,
that went the way of the dodo, I think, right after the Evil Empire picked them up.
Yeah, that didn't even make it beyond conceptual drawings. But there was another beta that we did in between Firestorm and Renegade. But anyways, it was a fucking amazing company. Very, very good company. And EA fucking killed it. You're so ugly you could be a modern art master. And very, very quickly, Bad Wolf with the 10 spot. Yes, CNC is very ingrained into the childhood of a lot of people. 95 was a damn good year, man. And no, I have not heard what is going on with Siege. I don't really follow that one, as I don't really play it.
They are censoring, just briefly.
No,
they are removing big swaths of blood from the maps. They are replacing offensive posters, and there was something else. I just read about this today, and they're doing it because they're going into Asian markets. They want to expand deeper into Asian markets, and they have to meet standards of approval in those countries, and they are deciding to censor all of the game for all regions for ease of upkeep.
That's fucking
Jesus
dumb.
Christ.
Yep.
We don't even fucking deal with that shit for Australia. But if we do it for Australia, don't we have a completely separate version for them?
Yeah, I mean why
not go that fucking way?
There was that huge hoopla with Wolfenstein, and them having to censor out the Swazis and stuff, and and that's completely understandable. Like we were just out at my dad's today, and we were talking about that. Like that shit is not taken lightly at all in Germany. Like it's illegal to have a fucking swastika. So I can understand that completely. Like there's a reason for them to be like, yeah, no, you're going to have to censor out all that fucking Nazi memorabilia because you ain't fucking bringing that shit here.
Well, and the other thing, J. Dale brought it up, no gambling references in the bar maps. They even specifically said in this article, they are pulling the pachinko machines out of the game. And I'm like, I lived on Okinawa for 5 years, and a large part of that tenure, I was living on the 3rd floor overlooking a fucking pachinko parlor.
Right. I mean, that's like, that's one of the things.
But that's the Japanese. I mean, the Chinese, like, why do we care? I'm still really confused. Why the fuck do we care? I get it. The Chinese market, it's probably a gold mine, but
how about we just enforce this almighty thing that says people under a certain age can't buy a fucking game? And if their parents buy it for them, they're responsible for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the country of China looking out for their people. I think it's the country of China just being a censoring dickhole.
Which is kind of odd
You're not wrong.
It's kind of odd that they get uptight about that, but at the same time, they'll fucking, like copyright laws mean exactly dick to them. They'll fucking knock off anything. So,
Liquid, that is savage.
So, well, I mean, it is true.
You're a bunch of fucking prison colonists.
That's fucking savage, dude. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, that was like the greatest episode of Top Gear is when they brought Aussie Top Gear there in a fucking prison van. Oh, it was pure gold. Speaking of convicts, that actually brings me on to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, because Blizzard is making me sad and want to fucking hurt things. Have you guys looked at any Red Dead gameplay, or have you guys gotten to play it yourselves? I don't know if you guys have a console.
I've seen a bit of gameplay, and my cousin's actually going through the game right now, and I've been watching him play a little bit. Basically, what I've gotten out of this is that and maybe this is just from all the gameplay I've seen, horse balls. Lots and lots of horse balls.
So you are correct, horse balls, but
So what you're saying is your cousin is into interspecies erotica.
So he said the first thing I was gonna do when I got this game was fucking ride this horse to the goddamn northern part of the map.
So have you? I'm just gonna throw this out there. Have you gotten drunk with Lenny yet, Brewer?
I have not played it.
Okay, so I'm not gonna spoil it any more than that. But at one point, you go out drinking with a character named Lenny.
Is his last name Bruce?
No. It is probably the greatest mission that Rockstar has ever made in a video game, period.
Oh, that's some pretty high fucking praise, given the fucking greatness that is Trevor in GTA 5.
Trevor does not have shit on getting drunk with Lenny.
Wow.
Like I finally did. Like, all my buddies had told me, "Oh my god, have you gone out and gotten drunk with Lenny yet?" I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Don't spoil anything." They're like, No, I'm not gonna spoil it. You have to get drunk with Lenny." And I was like, "Okay, fine, I'll get drunk with Lenny." 2 nights ago, I did it. Legit, I was a 38-year-old ball of tears. I was fucking dying.
Oh, that's laughing. Excellent.
It is, I mean, and as a guy who bartended for years, it makes me think of some of the best moments that I ever had dealing with drinkers.
A couple Lennys.
Yes. But it's not just the content of the quest, but it's how the game modifies things. Like, there are little things that you'll notice in the execution of the quest. Your button prompts have, like, the spelling gets fucked up.
Oh, and nice.
Like, different, I won't spoil actual content, but like, there are things that you notice while you're walking around doing the quest. And it was every single scene of that quest just doubles down on, this is what you are like when you're drunk. I would pay for a game that only had quests like that. That quest will never get old, period. If you haven't played it, you are doing it wrong.
Well, before I actually get into my thoughts about the game itself, very quickly I want to address something that obviously is going to be on the forefront of a lot of our minds, and that's, the PC factor. Is it going to be on PC? Everybody's saying it's not going to be on PC, so on and so forth. Okay, here's kind of my my theories, I guess, if you will, on that. Obviously, it's on console right now. GTA 5 also first released on console. It was much, much later that it released on PC. Worked out pretty well for Rockstar. A lot of people bought it on console and then they turned around and bought it on PC so they could, play the game and it look even more beautiful on PC. So multiple people have, said, and, I read here and read this, that, it's not going to be on PC and so on and so forth. I'm going off of what information I have, and that is from Carnage, which, if you guys don't watch fucking Carnage, watch fucking Carnage. He's one of the greatest goddamn streamers on the planet. Incredibly positive dude, and streams every single day for over 5 years now. Has not missed a day of streaming in over 5 years. Anyways, someone he knows ripped apart it's fucking insane dedication. But someone he knows ripped apart the game files for Red Dead and seen that there are quote unquote hooks, whatever the fuck those are. I don't know. I'm not a game developer. But there are hooks for both PC and VR with it deep within those game files. So he is led to believe it will eventually be released on PC. Why else would those, whatever hooks are, why else would those be in the files, buried deep within the files? I cannot personally think of any reason unless they were going to release on PC. So you may say, well, if they're going to release it on PC, why in the fuck haven't they said anything yet? Why haven't they told us they're going to release it on PC? Okay, let's go back to what we were talking about a little bit ago. They're a business, a company. Their job is to make money. Let's not forget that their parent company is Take-Two, the same company that everybody was ready to burn to the ground a year ago for shutting down 5M, because they weren't making money off of it. So what is an amazing way to make money with an IP that you know will bring people in the door? Well, we release it on one platform, and then we wait 9 months while we finish the development for the second platform, and then we release the game all over again. Seemed to work pretty damn good for GTA 5, considering it is now the highest grossing form of media in human fucking history. No movie, no game, no music, nothing has out-earned GTA 5. I think Rockstar knows how to make fucking money. And releasing a game on console 9 months before you release it on PC seemed to work pretty goddamn well.
Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Please.
Specifically, what do you think Take-Two's position is going to be on modding for RDR2 on PC?
Yeah.
I mean, when Take-Two told the modding community that the one mod responsible for making modding work on GTA 5, when they told them that it had been taken down,
the community fucking erupted.
What the community like gang fucked the Steam page.
Yeah, that was the first ever review bomb or whatever the fuck they want to call it that I've ever seen. And I actually got in on that. And that was the visualization of a community coming together and saying, no, fuck you. This is our shit. But the thing that backed that up the most, obviously the community doing reviews and, saying, hey, no, fuck you, Take-Two. Like, you're not taking away our shit. The biggest kind of backing to that was Rockstar themselves having the balls to come out and say, hey, we don't like this. This is not what we want, but we do not have a choice in the matter. Like, that took some fucking balls, man, for them to come out and basically speak against the company that fucking owns them.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. That could have very well been their death.
Well, but the thing you have to remember, though, is that they were in a position to go to Take-Two and tell them, you need to unfuck yourself or this cash cow will be dead overnight.
Yeah, very true.
Because Grand Theft Auto 5, I would argue your comments on a technicality. Grand Theft Auto 5 itself was not what made that company money. It was the shark cards that made that company money.
Yes and no.
They scored nearly $100 off of me for those fucking shark cards.
Well, yes and no. Obviously, that is a huge portion of the money they've made. They made like $500 million last year on shark cards alone. However, GTA 5 has sold more copies than any other game. More copies of GTA 5 have been sold than any other game.
Sure. And I will give you that. But I mean, if you look at like we were talking about Bobby Kotick earlier, and Bobby Kotick has been quoted as saying that he believes in intellectual properties that are exploitable over the long term. Now, Kotick was dumb enough to say it.
Yeah.
But companies like Rockstar and Take-Two are, I'll say, arrogant enough to put that into their business practices, but at least they're not going to say it in an interview that I've heard.
Well, the thing,
and so that, you know, the sale of the game will carry you a long way. I mean, we're about to see, I am hoping, one of the greatest sales in video game history when Cyberpunk comes out.
Oh, it will be. I would have to think it surpasses everybody else's opening.
Yeah, but for games like Grand Theft Auto 5, the modding community carries it. The modding community keeps things popular and active for a long time. But in order for Take-Two and Rockstar to keep those servers going, keep money coming in, keep their people working, they have to have a renewable source of income. And that is not in selling copies of the game. That is in selling products in the game. And the easiest way to do that is to throttle the amount of in-game cash you can earn and offer an easy way out through an expensive resource like shark cards.
And, well, the most genius part about it is that all of the updates they do are free. And they have released a lot of content for that game that's, hey, all this content is free. You get all of this stuff. All you have to do is buy with in-game currency. So then you have people that are like, well, the content was free, so I can spend, $30 on a shark card, and that's like buying the DLC. So boom, they're getting the money anyways. And then you have people that are like, well, I want everything that was released in this new content, so I'm going to drop $100 on a shark card.
Yep.
So,
and I'm waiting to see if there's going to be crates of gold bars for RDR2.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. I mean, they would have to be fucking retarded not to just recreate what they have with GTA 5. Which amazes me that when everything went down with EA with Battlefront 2 and everybody up in arms about it, Rockstar wasn't fucking mentioned anywhere. Nope. Nobody brought up shark cards. Nobody gives a shit. And in GTA 5, more so than just about any other game I've seen, buying those shark cards and buying the car and gear and guns and equipment that you can get with them has a massive fucking effect on the game.
Yeah.
But nobody brought it up.
No.
Because so many people love that fucking game. Like, I think people are scared of criticizing GTA because so many people fucking love it.
Rockstar has ostensibly become the bandits of the industry. Because it's like, we all know what they're doing is fucked up.
But god damn it, the stuff they create is so amazing.
Yeah, they're like, all right, you scumbags, we're gonna let you get away with this shit as long as you keep giving us our, crack, cocaine, meth, whatever you want to call it.
It's like we're their sugar daddy. Like, I know you're just using me for my money, but god damn it, you got a pretty mouth, so I'm gonna give you my money.
Jesus Christ.
The sex is too good with Rockstar to walk away that easily.
And that's the case.
Content is just really good. Like, it's just wholesome content. You can do so fucking much.
Yeah. And that's where, it brings me into Red Dead. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. I've watched a little bit of playing it. I'm at that stage where my curiosity is getting the better of me. I'm wanting to see it more and more, but at the same time, I don't want to, because I want to actually fucking play it myself. If or when, whatever that it does release on PC, because believe me, I'm very fucking tempted to go buy a PlayStation right now purely to play fucking Red Dead and God of War in Detroit. Because let's face it, PlayStation or Sony is fucking annihilating Xbox when it comes to exclusives and games and so on. But
so I will tell you this, as someone who has played every game there except for Detroit, because I personally don't really support David Cage saying he's a game developer. He has, as Yahtzee put it, he has potentially good ideas, but I don't really agree with his execution.
Well, I don't really see Detroit as a game. Like, to me, Detroit's not a video game. It's a story, but it's like the I mean, you remember the old fucking like turn page books. You put the tape in the VCR and you move go through the pages with the tape and so on. That's what it reminds me of. The old fucking choose your own path adventures that you could get on VCR.
Adventures, yeah.
That's what Detroit is to me. It's not a video game, not at all. Same as like the Telltale games. Like, those are not video games. QuickTime events are not gameplay. That's just shit that happens to be happening.
So what I was saying, as somebody who's played those games -1, my PS4 is here on my desk. On top of it, I have The Last of Us, Bloodborne, Infamous Second Son, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. I believe Spider-Man is an exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I have Dragon's Crown Pro. And you're right. Like, PlayStation, Sony obliterates Microsoft when it comes to exclusives.
Like, every single one of those games that you just named off that are exclusives, I'm interested in playing. Microsoft doesn't have any exclusives that I'm interested in playing that I can't already play because of the Play Anywhere shit. But even then, what exclusives do they have? Forza and fucking Gears of War. Halo when the new one comes out, but the last one just pissed me off. So whatever is what it is. Fucking how dare you do that to Cortana, you fucking cocks.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
It's okay, Tom. Cortana lives in Windows 10.
Not in mine. I ripped that bitch out.
The thing that I'm going to say about Red Dead Redemption 2, I said it in chat earlier. It is worth paying for a console.
Shut up.
You
shut your whore mouth.
I would pay for it again to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm waiting until Black Friday to buy a fucking video card, and you're like, dude, it's totally worth a console.
So the thing that gets me about Red Dead Redemption 2, I was talking with a friend of mine last night, and he said, I don't know what kind of satanic black magic they had to use to make this game run this well with this many details, but it is absolutely incredible.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that got me, is because the gameplay is going to be good. Like, again, Rockstar's gameplay is fucking outstanding. Like, we know they can do a third-person action-adventure shooter type thing. I know it has first-person as does GTA, but let's face it, first-person fucking GTA sucks dick, and it looks fucking horrible in Red Dead as well. The movement's all fucking weird and wonky. But
it's too like glidey.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. You're
floating almost.
It looks like you're a fucking puppet, and your thumbs are like the fucking marionette. Like, it looks weird. But
yeah,
I know their gameplay is going to be good. What got me is the opening of the game, like the opening scene, when I watched Ko go through it, just blew my fucking mind. And he was playing on a PS4 Pro or whatever the fuck the top of the line PS4 is now, because they have 19 million fucking versions. And he did say that the performance was better on his PS4 Pro compared to his Xbox One fucking XXX whatever bullshit. And again, PlayStation has all the exclusives. I can get any fucking Microsoft exclusive I want. So if I were to get a console, it would be a PlayStation. But I'm still holding out hope that, come February, we're going to get an announcement like, hey, next month, we're going to, be releasing Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. And then I'll run through the house screaming like a giddy little schoolgirl for about 15 minutes. I'll probably pass out, hyperventilate a little bit, and then I'll buy the game.
Lack of oxygen.
Yes.
Autoerotic asphyxiation. What are you talking about?
Exactly. But yeah, the visuals of the game are what struck me. I was blown away that it looked that good on a fucking console. Like it just, I was like, holy shit, man! Like, motherfucking Nvidia, like, fuck your 2080s. Like, you better jump your shit up to like 3080 or something, because fucking console's catching up, and this shit is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's the amount of detail, the amount of world and character detail that is retained over long periods of time. Case in point, buddy of mine. So Arthur's hat is almost the character in and of itself. Like, when you get into a fight, your hat can get knocked off your head.
yeah, and I've seen you have to go back and pick it up, and
you have to go back and get his hat. And somebody actually told me that there's a braided leather cord around the can of his hat.
Mm-hmm.
And that braid comes unraveled over the course of the game.
Oh, wow.
And so my buddy, he said, yeah, so I wanted a better hat. And I actually went out and I got a hat that makes me look like a fucking Mexican gunslinger. Like, my hat's amazing now. But he told me, he said, yeah, your hair does grow in real time. You have to maintain it. And your hair, depending on how well your hair is maintained, it affects how people react to you.
Oh, God.
But
no one would talk to me because I would look like real life. I would just shave my head and have a massive mountain man fucking beard.
So my buddy bought this new hat, got into a firefight, and somebody shot his hat off of his head, his brand new fucking hat. An hour later of game time, that bullet hole was still in the hat.
See, that's cool. That's impressive, but I can't say that I'm surprised. Because fucking Rockstar has always been like stickler for details. Like, they're always pushing that kind of limit of like the little tiny shit that you won't notice until you're 30, 40, 50 hours into the fucking game, and you're like, wait a minute, I never fucking, what? I've never seen that before.
Yeah. There's what was the other in the beginning of the game, you have just your belt and your revolver. And like I now have pistol, shotgun, repeater, bow, like all kinds of extra bells and whistles, and my character has a bandolier. When you have full ammo, your belt and your bandolier are full. Over the course of a firefight, they will slowly go empty.
Yeah.
And your character has enough awareness. He reloads his pistol from his belt and his rifle from his bandolier.
Oh, wow.
Like, he is self-aware of himself.
That's fucking Skynet, gentlemen.
Or like all the shit that he's wearing. Things come out of the same pockets. They come out of the same pouches. Like, they took the Max Payne combat system where Max could carry a shotgun, but then if he just needed to take out a straggler, he would drop the shotgun to one hand and carry it by the barrel and draw his sidearm with his other hand and shoot the guy and put it back.
Yeah, that's like, fucking outstanding.
Yeah.
Damn it. Shank, absurd. I really don't want to fucking buy a PlayStation, you son of a bitch.
Help me out, chat. Make your experience on Wargames better. They want you to play Red Dead, man.
Would make shit better for them. I ain't got a capture card. Haha, fuck all of you. I mean, unless you guys want to buy me one, you know. Shameless plug.
Buy him a capture card. He has to go out and buy a console.
Yeah.
If you make your $5 pledge now, we'll throw in this fancy Wargames boot in your ass.
That's not true. I mean, you can pay like $7 and buy a coffee mug. At least have something with my name on it.
Yeah, all right. So buy a fucking coffee mug, ladies and gentlemen. Help
everybody go buy a coffee cup right now.
God damn it. Yeah, so Red Dead is fucking impressive. I want to see more of it, but I don't, because I want to play it myself. But I can't understate how impressive that game is, and that's just coming from watching it. Like I said, I haven't even played it, and I'm blown away by the fucking game. But we do need to move on to the next subject I wanted to kind of briefly talk about. And this one's going to be a little bit closer to home for us here, at least in this community. You guys have any idea who Pete Davidson is?
Not off the top of my head. Sounds familiar.
Apparently, he's one of the comedians at SNL.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched SNL since... I don't know, when Adam Sandler was funny. So, it's been a while. So, some of you guys have probably seen and or heard this story that I'm about to talk about. So Pete Davidson is, or I guess was, dating fucking Grande.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, her. And as I said, he's a comedian on SNL, and I guess they just broke up. They were engaged or some shit. Anyways, long short, they were doing some political review roundup bullshit, I guess, that they do on SNL now. Why the fuck every goddamn show like that feels they need to go political now? I don't know. It just annoys the shit out of me. But he decided to poke fun at one of the Republican candidates out of, I believe, Texas. I feel like a douchebag for not remembering his name now. I should have it sitting here in front of me, but I'm lazy. Anyways, Cruz? No, it was not Ted Cruz.
Okay.
He made a joke about the gentleman's appearance. Oh, and you guys are about to watch me fall into a bunch of spikes on screen here. Dan
Crenshaw.
Yep, Dan Crenshaw, that's it.
Dan Crenshaw, okay.
So he made a joke about Mr. Crenshaw's appearance and the fact that he has an eye patch, saying that something along the lines of, I can understand how you would think he looks like he should be a pirate in a porn movie. And then follows it up with, yeah, I know he lost it in war or whatever. I know he lost it in war is alluding to the fact that Mr. Crenshaw is a Navy SEAL with 5 tours.
Yeah.
And lost his eye on his 3rd tour, which means he did 2 tours with 1 fucking eye. Yeah. So, this fucking kid, everybody's up in arms and pissed off at this kid, rightfully, for making a comment on Mr. Crenshaw having a fucking eye patch, and, making fun of his appearance, and, just completely glossing over the fact that the guy is a decorated war hero with 2 bronze stars and lost his eye in combat. So everyone is flipping the fuck out on him, as they rightfully should. And Keenan, not Keenan. Is it Keenan? Fuck. I don't know. Keenan and Kel.
Keenan Thompson?
Yeah, Keenan Thompson.
Yeah,
that's
Keenan
it.
Thompson.
Apparently I don't know if he's kind of high up at SNL now or what the gig is, why he's the one kind of commenting on this and it's not fucking Nutsack himself. But he said they're looking at a way to rectify this. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean.
I believe that means they're going to fire him.
No, I don't think so. Because if they were going to fire him, they would have already done it. The fact that NBC hasn't fired him is fucking mind-boggling right now. Like, I'm going
to share something here that's worth looking at.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The fact that they haven't fired him yet is just insane. Like, I don't give a shit about political allegiances. I'm not bringing politics into this at all. I don't give a shit what fucking dumbass animal symbol you want to follow. The fact that this kid, I'm not even going to say has the balls, because he doesn't have fucking balls, but the fact that he is fucking dumb enough to make a statement like that on live fucking TV, how he still has a job and still has teeth in his jaw fucking amazes me. Like, he has got to be, like, U.S. Marshals have got to be standing outside his fucking home right now. Like, he's got to be in fucking WITSEC at this point. I don't know how he's not. Now, granted, you may say, you know, well, most guys don't give a shit about that, and that is true. There are many vets, many active guys that are probably like, yeah, so what? He's a dumbass fucking comedian that doesn't know shit. We're not gonna waste our time being pissed off about it, which I can completely fucking understand. That's not so much, I guess, the issue, if you will. Dan Crenshaw did, comment on it. He posted something on Twitter about, he tries not to be offended by things, but it's pretty fucked up that any vet would have to, see their disability used as a punchline of a joke or something along those lines.
So I've got the tweet here from Mr. Crenshaw. It says, "Good rule in life. I try hard not to offend. I try harder not to be offended. That being said, I hope at NBC SNL recognizes that vets don't deserve to see their wounds used as punchlines for bad jokes."
There you go. And I cannot fucking agree with that more. So yeah, that's more so the biggest surprise, that NBC is even allowing this kid to still have a job. Like, with the way today's culture is, I'm amazed they have not erased his name from the annals of NBC. Like, he never fucking existed. It seems like they would want to get as far away from this as humanly fucking possible, because there's Democratic representatives that are speaking out against it, saying this is, fucked up. Obviously, they're not saying fucked up. But, they're speaking out against it, saying this isn't right. Like, politics have nothing to do with this. It's just a tasteless joke.
And see, that's the thing. Like, I don't mind, and maybe this is changed with age. I don't mind poking fun at the military, because sometimes the military does some really, really loopy shit.
Well, yeah, sometimes they lose. Sometimes they lose an M240 medium machine gun. Right. Sometimes they lose a box of 40 millimeter grenades.
I mean, we've done some stupid shit as service members. More impressive for those of us who have served or worked with people, brewers such as yourself. You worked in country. You've seen how bored service members can get, and the colossally stupid shit we come up with to entertain ourselves.
All I'm going to say is this, okay? If you've spent any time in country, or really any time deployed, yes, it gets very boring. And if you have not seen a grown man run naked from the smoke area to the fucking sleeping area and back, basically from the smoking area to the hooches and back, naked without getting caught, you have not been in country, or you have not been deployed.
This my rifle, this my gun.
Oh, I'm telling you, if you see more dick around military members than you will ever see in any porn in your life.
I mean, for me, basic training.
Yeah.
Here I am, 59 other men in a dorm for 6 weeks together. And it's like, I mean, it is a sausage fest that will put any fucking college frat party to shame.
Well, as Liquid just said, the giant Navy dick in the sky is a pretty good tribute to military force. So
giant Navy dick.
That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I feel bad for the pilot. I know he got his fucking ass reamed, but god damn, that was good.
Dude, that was fucking Ugh.
Real quickly,
History.
we had some support roll in while we're running our cockholsters here. Perrin with the 50 bomb says, "How much is a capture card?" I have no idea, but I guess I better start fucking looking. Apparently,
$100.
Somebody
or
mentioned
so?
the Elgato 4K capture card going for $99 right now.
fuck you, Shank. Also, Crest, thank you for the 12-month resub, bud. Glad you were able to come by tonight, and happy anniversary, sweetheart. So, anyways, I just wanted to bring up this story real quick. We are getting very close to that day. If you don't know what that day would be the 11th of this month, which is actually marking the 100th anniversary of the armistice. If you don't know what the armistice is, get the fuck off of my channel. So it's, I don't know. Obviously I have an issue with what the fucking dumbass kid said. It makes it even that much more cringy that he would say it, a couple weeks before the 100th anniversary of the end of the fucking Great War. It's really, really fucking bad, man. And Perrin with another 50 bomb. Apparently
You're
is
getting
my
the capture card, bitch.
All right. Well, I guess now we gotta.
You're welcome, stream.
Guess now I better start pouring over Craigslist and seeing where the PS4s are on Craigslist.
Oh boy.
Shank, I would like to make it known, although you are the more handsome version of me, I would still kick you in the dick.
Notice how I am not the one with a boot in his dick.
I mean,
yeah, but from me, he would actually enjoy it. And Hardman with a 238, I'm sure probably making it a round number because he has OCD like a motherfucker.
Sony PlayStation 4 PS4 Pro 2 terabyte 500 million limited edition, brand new inbox, $74.60.
Ooh!
Where in the fuck did you find that?
Links, motherfucker.
I was say, see if those motherfuckers will ship. So gotta move on. Next thing I wanted to bring up real quick, kind of along the lines with the 11th coming up. I know it's not Memorial Day, it is Veterans Day. But real quickly, I wanted to mention for any of you guys that aren't kind of in the community or the family or whatever, kind of, along with the military personnel and so on. A few days ago, we had one of our guys killed in Afghanistan, unfortunately by a Afghan National Army member. It was an insider attack. The only reason I bring this up, generally I don't really talk about shit like this, especially when it involves someone, being killed. There's only one other guy I've talked about passing away on here, and that was a very good friend of mine that we lost. But the reason I bring this up is he was actually a mayor in Utah, actually, of all places. We were just talking about Utah earlier. But he was a mayor of a town in Utah and stepped down from his position as mayor to go serve another tour as a advisor, which is immediately what I figured when I seen that he was a mayor. I knew he had to have been there as an advisory in an advisory role, and he was with the Utah National Guard. And yeah, he was killed by an insider that he was there helping train as part of the Afghan National Army. And then members of the ANA that were there ended up shooting the gunman. that is what is now the fourth insider attack resulting in a U.S. fatality in 2 years. It's pretty fucking obvious that we've got a slight security issue, and makes me all the happier. One, that I have not gone back to contract work, and two, makes me all that much happier that Soto did not listen to me and go to work doing contracts in Afghanistan. He had the opportunity to, and I fucking urged him to like a motherfucker because he's young, dumb, full of cum, and could use the money. And he decided not to. And it was a apparently very smart fucking choice on his part, and I'm an idiot. Yeah, I just wanted to make you guys aware of that real quick. Not trying to fucking kill everybody's mood for the night or anything like that, but shit like that needs to get out there. Guys need to be aware of it. A lot of people here don't pay attention to shit like that. They often don't see it, don't hear about it, unless, you know, they hear it in passing or whatever, or hear it in a situation like that, like this. Obviously, news like that travels through kind of my community, not the 506 community, kind of my community of guys that I worked with and so on. Shit like that travels pretty quickly through the community. Anytime one of us gets hit, everybody kind of hears about it damn near overnight. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of make you guys aware of it, and yeah, just kind of keep that in mind if you were thinking about getting into that kind of shit. I know Sal is getting ready to go back. Yeah, as he says there in chat, Sal's getting ready to go back there and do some training himself. So, Sal, I'll kick your ass if you get hurt. You can believe me, I will slap the shit out of you with your Raspberry Beret. Which, if you guys don't know, Sal is now airborne qualified engineer, and for that, they gave him a maroon beret, or as I affectionately refer to it as the Raspberry Beret. So he is now Prince as a motherfucker.
Congratulations, Sap. That's amazing.
Whoop, whoop.
You can now play a guitar like a badass and dance in Purple Rain. So
somebody get this guy out of here.
I had to. So next thing I wanted to move on to here, I guess since we were talking about capture cards and shit, we are quickly approaching what is one of the great holidays for us. And no, I don't mean Thanksgiving. That is great for the three of us sitting in this channel because our inner childs are all fat little bastards. But more so what I mean is the day after Thanksgiving, which is Black Friday. Black Friday is a huge deal for those of us that are into gaming and just electronics in general. That's when we see amazing deals and so on. As I mentioned earlier, I will be looking at purchasing a new video card on Black Friday. I'm not real sure whether or not we'll see the 20 series cards on sale on Black Friday. If we do, it'll probably be a very small sale, but that's what I personally will be looking at purchasing, along with apparently now a fucking capture card. So what are you guys looking for? Is there anything that's kind of piqued your guys' interest as of late? Is there any upgrades you're looking to make that you're kind of looking towards Black Friday for?
I can't say that Black Friday I'm looking for anything in particular. I'll be browsing like deals and see what's there and see if something like convinces me to buy. But my PC's actually been upgraded since the last time I've been streaming, so I'm pretty much good there. Maybe a game or two. I might pick up like Red Dead or something like that for Black Friday.
You said your PC's been upgraded since you were streaming last. Would you upgrade?
I just added. I was telling you prior to stream here that I added a fifth monitor to my system. So I had to throw in an
he
extra.
said fifth, guys. Fifth. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, y'all motherfuckers thought I was bad when I posted the picture of my setup in Discord. All right, I have 4. Granted, yes, one of those is a fucking 43-inch TV, but still, I have 4. He has 5.
It's pretty good. I've got 3 monitors in landscape and 2 in portrait mode. I can see everything now from when I'm doing stuff for the 506, when I'm doing stuff that's streaming, and when I'm doing stuff for my lighting design work for theater.
You have 5 fucking monitors. You'd have to be Ray Charles not to see everything.
Shit. Oh god. Yeah. So no, and all I had to do. My girlfriend's father handed me an extra 750 Ti. He's like, here, so you don't have to go buy a fucking another card. Put this in your system. I was like, okay, works for me. So I don't have to buy a graphic card now to run 2 auxiliary monitors. So I'm pretty pleased.
Fucking kids.
You know. I lied. There is one thing I'm looking for this year for like Black Friday / Christmas. I want an on-air light to go above my office.
Oh, you mean like a studio on-air light? I got you.
I can flip on from the inside, and so
you can just do what most of us do for studios and put a light on the other side of the wall with a switch on your side with a red bulb in it, and you just flick the switch and the red bulb comes on, and that means you're recording.
Yeah, but it's Christmas.
Shit, that's what I need to get for Erica. She's always standing in the kitchen looking at me going, Are you broadcasting?
Right.
Do you want food?
It's the same thing that happens with me because I'm constantly in here talking to people and so on, and team speak and whatever. So I'll inevitably get the little on my fucking door like, "Are you working? Dinner's ready. All right, I'll be out there to eat when I'm fucking done." Like, because it's very rare. Well, not very rare. On nights that I don't stream, obviously, it's not a big deal. But on nights that I work, I don't eat dinner warm. Like my family's not going to wait on me to get done streaming to fucking eat, at 10, 11 o'clock at night. So, like 3, 4, sometimes 5 nights a week, like I get done working and I go grab my fucking plate and I throw it in the fucking microwave and microwave it for a few minutes. So it's not all that often that I actually eat my dinner as soon as it's done. More often than not, I'm like microwaving it real quick, and then it is what it is. But yeah, I always get that knock like, "Are you working? Are you done working? Dinner's done. I would like to take a shower. Come watch the fucking Minion. I want to wash my ass."
I want to wash my ass. Jesus.
So what about you, Shank? Is there anything you're kind of maybe eyeballing for Black Friday?
Well, this year there's not anything that I can't live without. I have got some kind of extenuating circumstances on why I'm not gearing up for Black Friday this year. Specifically, I have 2 games that I'm really excited for before the end of the year. I really want to check out Darksiders 3. And like anybody who owns a Nintendo Switch, I will have my copy on release day of Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Jesus, you're one of those.
Well, I'm not a longtime fan of the series, but I figure if I bought my Switch, I better have games for it.
Isn't the new Zelda on the Switch?
Mm-hmm.
Have you played it on there?
I have played it, and I can't say anything bad about it, except I couldn't get into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot about it to like. Again, I can't offer any criticism for it.
I personally didn't. I haven't played it. I know Drum played it a little bit. I haven't played it. I've just watched a little bit of it, and like I didn't really pay attention to the gameplay or anything. Mostly because the art style fucking blew my mind. Like it was gorgeous. I love the art style of it. But
Yeah.
that's the only thing that really stood out to me was specifically the art style.
It's very pretty. I mean, it's a very well done game. There is a lot to like about it and not much to criticize, but it was just one of those games that I was like, what ups? I couldn't, man. I just couldn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just read Bad Wolf's fucking comment. Not PC related, but a PS90 if I can find one. Oh, sometimes I fucking love you guys.
So my big thing is, I have now been 100% total and permanent disabled veteran for 2 years. And well, about 2.5 years now. And I was given the opportunity to file with Social Security a number of months ago. And then a month after, or well, actually not even a month, a short time after I filed, I received a tip from a friend of mine who has PTSD, who was going through her own issues with Social Security. She had an attorney, and she gave me the information for the attorney. I have contacted them, and I said, I want my disability, fuckers. And so I'm currently in the process of trying to be authorized for whatever Social Security will authorize me as a 100% total and permanent disabled veteran. And I have read, I'm speaking this into existence right now because I wholeheartedly want it to happen. I have read that a 100% TNP disabled veteran can get up to $2,700 a month from
Right
Social
on.
Security.
Is that
And
pre or post tax?
that part I'm not sure of, but for me to be able to say that I sit on my fat lazy ass every day and make $6,000 a month would be really fucking nice.
I would assume
that
that's
happens,
post tax.
Well, and again, I'm not 100% sure there, but if that happens, I will receive some kind of retroactive pay.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, I've got a car to pay off. I have a 1 credit card to pay off. I will rebuild my computer. I will probably donate to a couple of causes, and I will probably travel a little bit. So that's my goal for a while. So not this Black Friday, but next Black Friday, I'm sure I'll be spending more money than I really should on things.
Well, you'll do what we call ghetto rich.
That's right.
See, that's the first time I've heard it. They call that
Go ghetto rich.
I've heard other ways of having that put.
Let's see.
Well, that's what we call it in the ghetto.
Tax-free to being combat related.
So, kind of speaking of that, and I guess I should have given you guys kind of a proper introduction, as there's a lot of new people around the channel that may not completely know who you guys are and so on. And again, I'm talking to Patty or Tin Man, as you guys may know him from Twitch, and Mr. Shank the Noob. So Patty is in the 506 with me. He's one of the team members in 2.4, which is a weapons element. And Shank was actually introduced. I was introduced to Shank via Patty, along with DJ and Siri, and they are all members of Hollow Points Gaming, which is kind of a group that they've had going for a few years now. So again, Patty's in the 506 with me. He plays ArmA with me, or at least in the vicinity of me, every 2 weeks. And Shank is, as you guys just heard, disabled vet. He's an Air Force veteran who spent many a days in Okinawa, if I remember correctly.
5 years on Okinawa, couple of years at U.S. Strategic Command, and then my final couple of years out in the 324th on Hawaii.
There you go. So
not a bad career, really.
Yeah, fuck. I should have went to the Air Force. Damn it, man.
Somebody actually came up to me the other day because they found out that my dad was Air Force. He's like, "So yeah, your dad was in the chair force?" I'm like, yeah, he sat down so you could fit his boot straight up your ass.
Yeah, people like that
That's one
are generally the ones I feel driven to punch directly in the fucking throat box.
So I'm going to throw this out as a prior service member. If you are Air Force, Marine, Navy, Army, Coast Guard, or have worked extended periods of time with the service, around the service, you are allowed to throw the insults. But if you are a civilian, don't fucking come up to a service member and be like, Marines, my ass rides in Navy equipment. Air Force, you were in the chair force. Shut the fuck up.
Puddle pirate.
You're gonna get fucking thunder punched in the throat.
I still think
we
Puddle Pirate is still
right.
my favorite to hear.
We earn the right to talk shit to each other.
Puddle Pirate is a great name, but dude, I have so much fucking respect for those guys. Like, Coast Guard are some badass motherfuckers, man. Like, those guys don't have tours. Those guys go to work every day. And every day is, oh, we're going to go out and ride these fucking 120 foot tall waves and rescue a boat. Oh, I'm going to jump out of this fucking helicopter into that 100 foot tall wave. There are some crazy motherfuckers, man. And
There's a guy
interdiction units that they run, the drug interdiction units and shit. There's some high speed motherfuckers, man.
There's a guy in my ArmA unit that I just met him the other day. He was in the Coast Guard, and I was like, cool, man, what'd you do? And he's like, I did extreme weather search and rescue.
Fuck that.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, sir, you can come over anytime and I will jack you off for your bravery alone.
Right. Like, I don't even...
Hell.
I live in fucking Michigan. We're surrounded on 3 sides by massive lakes, and I don't even like going swimming.
No.
Like, fuck that.
And this guy, like, he was up here. He spent a lot of time up here in my area. I live in the South Sound up in Washington, and he knows quite a few of the places. He did most of his work out of, did he say Westport or Port Townsend? Westport, I think.
Yeah, because you guys get some pretty gnarly fucking weather up there.
Dude, off the coast of Washington is pretty crazy weather, but when you get up to the cross currents up in like Swisher, up between northern Olympic Peninsula and Vancouver, Canada, like, I went bottom fishing up there one year. We went out for halibut and lingcod and all that kind of shit. I caught my fish and spent the rest of that like 10 hours on the water feeding the fish. That is some of the nastiest fucking weather I've ever been in. And those were like, I think at the worst, we were in 10-foot swells. Yeah. And that was decent weather.
And that's like Vert just said, like, I'm not jumping in a fucking ocean to save somebody's ass. And like Vert did combat tours. Like, fuck that, dude. Like, no. The only thing that goes in the ocean has fins, and I wasn't born with none. Fuck off.
That's right.
Like, you fall your ass over the side of the boat. You better turn into Free Willy real fucking quick, because I ain't coming in after your ass. Like, I'll throw a fucking pole into you. Like, you know, grab onto this fishing hook.
Save me from this freezing water, bitch. I hope you inflated your fucking water wings, because I ain't coming out there.
So that actually kind of brings me on to something I've talked about before, but I want to kind of bring it up again because it's kind of pertinent to yourself and a conversation we had a few weeks ago. So a buddy of mine told me a story, would have been a year ago or so now, of a previous ArmA unit that he was in. Now, obviously, ArmA units, you know, whether it be 506 or whatever, there's constantly someone that wants to shit talk and, you know, this and that and fucking stolen valor and fucking whatever because they're a fucking retard and don't know what stolen valor is, so on and so forth. But at the same time, you do end up with people that try and take advantage of that a little bit, or we'll get a little too familiar with the military world. And what I mean by too familiar, basically too comfortable with it, if you will. And that huge long explanation is eventually leading to a point. I promise you. So he told me this story of this kid in his ArmA unit that wasn't military, wasn't prior military, hadn't planned on serving or anything like that. And he decided that because apparently he's seen Generation Kill too many times, that he was going to call a guy that was an 88 Mike, truck driver, was going to call him a pogue. Now, luckily for him, I was not
You almost made
there.
me spit out my rum, you fuck.
But why is the rum gone? Because Shank spat it all out.
That's right.
So, yeah, again, I wasn't there because I wasn't in this unit. But apparently the guy that he was talking with was prior military and didn't check the fucker on it, which amazes me. It genuinely makes me question whether or not the other guy was actually military, because I personally do not know anyone that is active or prior that is going to let a civilian sit there and call someone else, someone who is prior military, a fucking pogue. And for those of you guys that didn't watch fucking Generation Kill for whatever reason, a pogue is persons other than grunt. As they say, rear echelon guys. Basically, it's anybody that's not a fucking infantry billet.
Yeah. If you're not a gun bunny door kicker, you don't get to call anybody a pogue.
Right.
Like I worked, my boss at GameStop, when I worked at the GameStop over on Joint Base Lewis McChord, he was an infantryman, and he called me a pogue, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And he told me, he said, person other than grunt. And I've talked to Army guys, and the way that I have been told, the only person as an Air Force backliner, the only person I am ever allowed to call a pogue is myself.
Yeah,
Anybody
I
else,
can see that.
You're getting checked.
Yeah.
In the fucking mouth.
But to be fair, the only real direct action guys, I guess, that you guys really have would be JTACs and SOAR guys. Well, really fucking medevac crews are
PJCCTs.
Yeah, there are some pretty
frontline work.
gnarly motherfuckers.
Yeah.
God, I love those fucking videos, man, of the Pavehawks coming in, doing medevacs, and guys just opening up with the guns. Oh, God. Gives me a red, white, and blue heart on.
That's what our group does. The 720th STG is PJCCT and drone ops.
Yeah. It's... Ooh. So, anyways, yeah, I'm like I said, I'm genuinely amazed that that somebody that was service would let that go unchecked, which makes me question the validity of it. Anyways, and I guess this is kind of a bad segue, but fuck off. I'm not Maury Povich. Shank the Noob also plays ArmA. He does not play ArmA with me because, well, let's face it, the unit can't handle this much sexy in one place.
I will say that I did tell him that we were looking for drone operators when one opened up. I think he may have considered it.
Oh God, no. There would be way too much trouble if I was task force commander and Shank was fucking uniform. We would be off in a corner having a fucking giggle fit like a couple of fucking middle school girls, and everybody would be like, what the fuck are we supposed to do right now, man? I'm waiting for orders to come down the pipe. I haven't seen Top in like 20 minutes. I don't know. I heard some maniacal cackling coming out of the cave over there. I'm not sure what's going on.
Fuck yeah, we're all sitting on the goddamn runway in a fucking Chinook. We're like, where the fuck? What the fuck are we doing? Uniform, still sitting in the corner.
I had an op the other day. We were doing checkpoint training, just doing like vehicle checks and stuff with our unit. And I had a drone overhead, and we got into it. We had enemy forces come down the road at us, and somebody was taking pot shots with a long range from like a 2-story building a couple 100 meters out from the checkpoint. And it's always amazing when I'm laying there in this checkpoint and all these guys are like, holy fuck, where are the gunshots coming from? And overhead, I've got 121s on this fucking Reaper. And you launch one of these 121s, hits the fucking building, obliterates the guy, and inevitably somebody at the checkpoint goes, holy shit, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah. Oh, we get the same thing, especially with the lock on after launch Hellfires. Because the fucking bird can be 3-4 clicks out there. Nobody has any way of fucking knowing it's there. And all of a sudden, just like the side of a mountain will fucking explode from a Hellfire. And they're like, what the fuck was that? Was that like enemy IDF or something? Like, no, motherfucker, that was a goddamn Hellfire missile coming from your fucking Apache that's, 5 clicks out there and you have no idea it's there.
We did have a guy, in fact, Brewer, I think I've talked to you about him. He's really well known in the ArmA community for a lot of the work that he's done. And when we first started the drone program in our unit, I said, well, I did what I did for the Air Force. I want to work with a Global Hawk. Mm-hmm. And there's a Global Hawk mod. Trying to get that thing off the fucking ground. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure I need chase cars. That thing is a bitch. And so we finally decided we're going to take the Global Hawk out of the equation. And instead, my buddy Greg, he modded the Global Hawk's camera onto the Reaper.
Oh, nice.
And so now you can hit a flea off a dog's back from 2,000 meters up.
Oh, believe me, the amount of people that pester the fuck out of Soto to get a hold of our gun camera off of our A10 is insane. Like, everyone's like, where'd you get that TGP from? That's not from ArmA. Can I get that? Can I get the code for that? Like, how did you do that? It's bad because it's fucking real to life, man. Like, he can tell you if you're picking your nose from 8 clicks away.
Oh yeah.
So that as I guess was kind of alluded to there, Shank is in an ArmA unit, and I want to kind of talk about that a little bit because obviously we've talked a fuck ton about the 506 here on the channel, and we've also talked about TSB, which is Weiwu's group, and he will be coming back for a future episode. Hopefully, I'm going to try and talk him into coming on here, as well as Mr. Forensic Steel. I'm going to be reaching out to him to see if we can get him on here as a guest. So kind of reaching out, broadening our horizons a little bit in terms of other guys that do ArmA and stuff. Because you guys probably get tired of hearing about the shit that we do. You end up watching it anyways. So, Shank, fill us in a little bit. What's the unit? What do you guys do? Just kind of give us a rundown of it.
So we just recently did some restructuring because our operations expanded. Originally, it was the 26 Special Tactics Squadron, which is a real unit. The 26 STS is a PJCCT Air Force Special Operations unit operating under SOCOM. And their parent group is the Special Tactics Group, the 720th Special Tactics Group. We have since expanded our title to the 720th STG because we have the 26 STS, we have the 33rd Special Operations Squadron, which encompasses our drone and airborne fire support unit. Currently, we are a very small unit. We may have about 10 to 12 active members. But the nature of our work right now allows us to operate in small team conditions. We are looking to expand. I don't know how big our captains want to ultimately be, but we are recruiting. That's not a plug to try to siphon members off of this broadcast.
Motherfucker, you are here as my guest. You plug all you damn well please.
Well, if we do have, we have had a lot of people come into our team speak and they're like, oh, you guys are an Air Force unit. I want to go run with I want to go run with the cool guys. I want to do a Force Recon unit or Army Ranger unit.
Yeah, because nobody does that.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here, you 16-year-old tryhard. I don't care.
What is your age of entrance, by the way, Shank? I'm just curious.
So the age of entrance was recently adjusted because we had some undesirables in the unit. The
word he was looking for there was squeakers.
You're not wrong. We actually, so case in point to tell a story, our TeamSpeak has a requirement that when you come on, once you're given your tags, your name must be first initial dot last name. And I had a person in the unit recently that decided that at 14 years old, the rules did not apply to him. And so he got his ass kicked for it. And he seemed to not make the connection that I'm the flight sergeant. And so when I tell you to do something unit related, you kind of do it. So we decided that most kids are considering what they're going to do post high school starting around 16.
Mm-hmm.
We will take people at 16 years old. We have a couple of people who have grandfathered. We've got like 1 or 2 15-year-olds that are mature beyond their years. They are there to play Army the way that, you know, one would want to play Army, as it were. But 16 is our absolute hard cap for minimum age. Most people at 16 or 17 are going, do I want to go into college? Do I want to go into the military? Do I want to flip burgers for the rest of my life? So we do accept them, but there is a little bit of an adjustment period there where we go, we understand that you're young. We understand that you're still growing up. You're still learning things. But when we give you instructions, you need to follow them. This is a military unit. We are conducting ourselves as such. We generally don't have much of a problem. We've got several fairly young guys in the unit, and all of them follow orders very, very well.
Oh, that's nice.
It has worked out very, very nicely so far. We are talking about doing, like, Brewer, I know you and I have talked offline once or twice about potentially doing joint ops, bringing our guys in to work with you. That's still in the making. We had a bit of a personnel issue a number of weeks ago. Everybody got excited. We were doing an op in Chernobyl, and we had MARSOC on site with us. Yeah, we had MARSOC on site with us and all this shit, and something happened. We lost one of our personnel, and somebody who was then placed in charge at the time was inebriated in some fashion and was not able to carry out their actions as the next in charge.
Did you drink all the rum again?
No, I was not the flight sergeant at this time. That individual has since departed the unit. But unfortunately, in the course of that operation, the mission was terminated and MARSOC was lost. And so we were like, no, this shit can't happen. And we've got our guys running, the guys who fucked up, we've got doing remedial military training, and everybody who's coming in is now going through a much more stringent training program.
Well, that's kind of the next thing I wanted to, I guess, get from you is what is the actual entry process at this time? Is there, application to go through, interview, follow-on training, multiple phases of training? How does that actually work for you guys?
So you have to put in an application on our website, 720th STG, and you go through, when you first come in, you're Airman Basic. You go through basic combat training, which sends you literally through do you know which side of this rifle is deadly? Do you know how to point it at the people who need it to be deadly towards? Do you know how to pull the trigger? And once you go through all of that, you are an airman. And then you will go into specialized training. We have individual training programs for combat control and for pararescue. Anybody who functions in a fire team lead position must have completed both of those training programs. We do not allow anybody to go in who depends on someone else to know how a specific operation has to go down. All PJs are trained as CCTs. All CCTs are trained as PJs once they reach a leadership role.
Okay.
Right now, our drone program is small enough that it is my friend Greg. He functions as the 33rd Special Operations Squadron Commander, and I dual hat as the 26th Flight Sergeant and the 33rd XO. And the two of us do all of the drone operations. Greg also Zeuses, so oftentimes I am doing drone operations by myself. The drone program is still in the making. Greg and I are the ones who run it. We're the only ones who are in it currently, and we're still creating an SOP for new individuals to come in and either operate the drones as remote location operators or fire team attached assets.
You gotta love documentation.
Yeah, no shit.
You've seen some of my documentation, one of like 5 fucking documents that I've done. It's always fun.
Ugh. Shank, the questions come up. Do you guys use normal Ace 3 or you have your own modded version of Ace?
Our Ace program is more involved than the 506th. Are you talking, when you talk Ace, are you talking like the PJ?
No, not. He means the mod.
The mod
of Ace.
The mod set.
I'm not sure. I think ours is Ace 3.
So it's just a standard Ace 3 then.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, what they're basically asking, because the version of Ace 3 that we use is Ace 3, but our team has taken the files and the code within Ace and further modified it to suit our needs. That's why there's very, very few things in our mod pack that are actually the base mod. Almost everything in our mod pack, our team goes in and touches it in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes they use lube, sometimes they don't. But either way, they go in and kind of shape and mold things to suit us, which is why a lot of the shit that we use, some of the things that we have, so on and so forth, when guys see it, they're like, hey, wait a minute, that's not what I see when I use this. And that's because our mod team changes shit.
Oh, okay. Now that is something that would probably be I should have brought Coker with me today. Coker's my mod god for everything. He's making our life server. He created an entire map for our training setup. Coker has thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, like many of you probably do in ArmA. A lot of it in the ArmA tools.
He's like our Hardman.
Yeah,
yep,
I mean he pretty much lives on ArmA. Now going back to what I was saying earlier before I got confused. Well done, by the way, chat.
Yeah.
Our medical unit, our medical system is way more complicated than yours. You said that like yours is pretty much stitch and bitch and get them back on the line, correct?
Yeah, ours is basic medical. We do not use advanced medical.
Ours, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm glad that I didn't actually go into full PJ training before I reattached to the 33rd. We have more band-aids than I can count. We have saline, we have blood, we have morphine, epi.
Full advanced medical system.
It's a full fucking suite. And some of our guys that are trained as PJs, holy shit, I know how to keep myself alive. These guys can save multiple lives at once. I mean, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, I've dicked around with advanced medical before, and like, like I said, we don't use it, and I've talked about, why we don't use it multiple times. But a lot of people, have hatred for advanced medical for their own reasons. The only issue I have with it is purely the amount of time that it takes, and we just don't have that kind of time. That's really the biggest problem for me, because for us, we have 60 guys in there and 5 of them are medics. If we have an MCI and 12 guys go down, that's like 40 minutes of them working on people, and a couple of them are gonna die. And then we have to wait to, get them reinserted and so on and so forth. It just becomes more of a hassle than what it's really worth in terms of adding to the enjoyment of the game. But like you said, they can work on multiple people and, take care of them and so on. So at a smaller scale, it's, I'm not going to say easier to deal with, but at a smaller scale, it's more feasible to use than what it is, at a very large scale.
Yeah.
So in terms of operations that you guys do, excuse me. So are you guys, I guess to kind of relate it to what we do, are you guys currently on an actual deployment, or are you currently undertaking a training cycle, or, what are you guys doing right now?
The way Captain Chira has it right now, we are actually doing a training cycle. He got pretty annoyed with how things went down on the Chernobyl op that we were doing. That was the last active sortie that we had. So we've been in a pretty hefty training cycle lately. Lots of positional security. Like I said, we did checkpoint ops, we do ECP control, stuff like that. We've done some convoy training. We've done base
love me a good convoy,
stuff like that. Yeah. We have some pretty kick-ass Zeuses in our unit as well. They set us up in some pretty awesome scenarios and stuff. So
yeah, it's hard been said in chat there. If you need a good checkpoint, hit them up.
Checkpoint.
That
Right
fucking checkpoint you did a few, well, shit, it might have been a little over a month ago now, was pretty fucking impressive. Like it was almost inch for inch, like identical to some of the checkpoints that I actually went through in country. It was very fucking impressive.
Sweet. We did have, speaking of checkpoints, oh my god, the other day, I respect people with PTSD. I really do. I'm going to preface this story with this. I respect people who have PTSD. It is apparently awful to live with, and my heart goes out to you guys. On a not so serious note, I'm pretty sure that this exercise we went through gave me PTSD.
Oh, you learn to fear every vehicle, every bag of trash, every fucking anything.
I mean, the IEDs and stuff unsettle me.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg got me with this the other day, and it was almost like needs counseling worthy, because we were at a crossroads checkpoint, and I was on the west side of the checkpoint. I was walking up to a vehicle. I had the guy step out. I was checking his credentials. I was about to do an inspection on his car, and another vehicle rolled up on the other end of the checkpoint, and one of my buddies was going towards that vehicle. And I turned around because I heard him say something, cued my radio to respond to him. The car on the other end of the checkpoint detonated. And Greg told me later that the IED in that car was tuned to our squad's frequency.
Oh, fuck.
And so as soon as I cued my radio, I detonated that car. And it's one of those moments where you go, had I cued that radio any later, I would have killed my own buddy inadvertently. And that's the kind of shit that would keep me the fuck up for the rest of my life. Like,
shit.
he did that to me, and I'm like, I don't know if I can fucking handle this right now. Like,
Well, I'll tell you, it's not possible in real world for that to happen. But yeah, checkpoint duty. Like I know a couple of guys that's they pulled checkpoint duty quite often, and it is some of the most nerve-wracking shit on the planet.
yeah,
And for us, like when we were working, because we always worked outside the wire. We had to drive everywhere, we were going to work. And we had route clearance always go ahead of us. I was just talking to Ven the other day. Ven did a lot of route clearance. Those guys were like our golden fucking gods because they kept our asses alive. And we were talking about how, if for some reason they got stopped or, whatever, if they couldn't finish clearing a route or if our pre-planned route had been blocked by, a broken down car or whatever, we turned around and went home. We didn't roll anywhere where our route hadn't already been cleared by a clearance team. But still, even knowing that the route had been cleared, like you still have to be on top of your shit, because they learn the paths and, the kind of the habits of the clearing elements, and they'll, push in fucking an hour after they leave, and then they'll plant the shit. So yeah, like it's no bullshit. Like when guys talk about, they come home and like they, see something sitting on the side of the road and it kind of freaks them out. Like, yeah, it does. It did for me for a little while. Like I got home and, you'd see a fucking 2-liter bottle laying on the side of the road and you just kind of look at it for a minute and then remember, oh yeah, I'm in fucking Michigan, Baghdad, not real Baghdad.
That's right.
So I'm all right.
Suddenly realize that you're still giving it that wide berth.
Right, exactly. Which people still like make fun of me, like when I go to a restaurant, like I have to sit down in the corner so I can see the door and watch everybody that comes in. But I did that long before I ever went over there.
My tattoo artist is the exact same way. He will never sit with his back to a door.
I have 2 rules when I go to any restaurant. I will go try any restaurant. I'm not scared of any type of food. But I have 2 rules. 1, I have to be able to see the kitchen. And 2, I have to be able to see any entry point from where I sit. The kitchen thing is because a lot of my family has worked in kitchens and I know what kind of shit goes on in them. So anytime we go out, we have to be able to look inside the kitchen. I want to be able to fucking look that cook in the eyes. And yeah, the entry points is just, as you can imagine, I just need to be able to see who's coming in. It's just like when I sleep, I always have to be closest to the door. It doesn't matter how we rearrange the room. If we put the bed on the other side of the room, I got to be closest to the door. Doesn't matter. So, excuse me. To get back to the ArmA stuff. I know, we talked for a while about like training and stuff like that, and some of the kind of techniques that I use in terms of urban shit and so on. And those of you guys that follow the channel regularly, on every other Saturday I do the Urban Combat School that I just started up, where I go through and kind of teach the guys what I was lucky enough to be taught in terms of techniques and stuff in urban combat. So I know, for you, we had talked about that. You were kind of, looking for a little bit, few pointers on that. Do you feel like you've improved on that at all? Or is that something you still find yourself wanting to get better at?
So I watched your video on room clearing, and for me, I never thought.
You might as well have been speaking Chinese, damn it.
Well, I never thought about how much precision goes into making sure that a building is secure. And I blame that largely on things like Hollywood, because you'll get these situations in movies where, a single guy will run into a room and he points one direction, points the other direction, drops to his knee, moves straight forward. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Very quickly, not to cut you off. The fucked up thing is, it is somewhat starting to go the way of Hollywood, and I know this is going to sound retarded, but a very popular technique and getting to be more popular is a technique known as limited entry breaching, which
you talked about that in your video.
Yeah, it was originated by the Israelis. Israeli special forces have been using it for a while, and as per anything with the Israelis, we're generally about 10 years behind them, and it's gaining more and more traction. With us, some of the guys that I still talk to have seen it kind of making the rounds between, the different security guys and, making its way into some of the specialty schools and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's basically you stand. This is what is so fucked up about it. And it's so contradictory to what all of us have been trained to do is you pie the funnel just the way you normally would. But instead of clearing the funnel and getting back on your entry wall, you maintain your position in the center of the funnel or the center of the door. And then you just peek in, like you basically bend at the waist and peek in, clear your near left, peek in, clear your near right. And you can, obviously clear the far corners from the funnel. And then you deem the room clear. And then you continue on to your next room. Like I said, it's so drastically 180 from what has been trained for fucking years and years, that a lot of guys really aren't comfortable with it. I can see the merits to it. I can see the downsides of it as well. But the Israelis are pretty fucking badass when it comes to CQC. They really know what they're fucking doing. They have some of the best fucking HRT elements on the planet. So they know what they're doing. But to continue on with your point, now that I kind of hijacked it there from you.
Okay.
So you were watching the room clearing video, and
I was watching the room clearing video, and again, it's the amount of precision that goes into each person's location, each person's turn of action. I mean, it was incredible to watch. And I did actually find myself, after watching that video, more aware of certain actions, at least that I took. And part of the problem, and I think this is an issue that new arrivals to the ArmA community will face more than old salts, and I count myself as a new arrival. We are hardwired as gamers to be quick twitch and reactive.
Yep.
We are not taught to be methodical and disciplined.
Yeah.
And so then when a game comes up, I mean, some people would argue that games like Rainbow Six Siege are teaching people to be disciplined and methodical, but Rainbow Six Siege has come to the point of mastery for a lot. And so people have turned it into Call of Duty or Battlefield. A game like ArmA is even less forgiving than that. And so like when I did a training exercise with the combat controllers one afternoon, and we did a building clear, and it was amazing, the difference. Like I went in and like immediately took up a position. I mean, it wasn't just going into the room and fanning out. It was in the door, turn right, go this way, down the hall. It wasn't this half-cocked, I've got to get the most kills bullshit anymore.
Right. It's not, like you said, it's not the quick, twitchy movements. I mean, it is. You have to be very quick in CQC, but it's much more methodical in the sense that you have to cover a sector. You have to, do your primary and your secondary sweeps. You have to clear the hides, so on and so forth.
That's right.
It's not.
There are 200 steps in the operation, and don't you dare only do 199 of them.
Yeah, because the one you missed is the one that's going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like you said, with inexperienced guys that come in and they're basis for what they know is in terms of shooters is, very fast paced, just run in and shoot them. And, so what if you get shot, you respawn and you're back in the same exact spot 8 seconds later anyway. So it's not a big deal.
Right.
Obviously it's a bit different in ArmA. But that's why I spend as much time as I do, not only training guys, but also, refreshing my own shit.
Yeah.
For any of you that have never done any type of teaching or instructing or whatever, it's the one true way to master something is to teach it over and over and over and over. But at the same time, I'm still learning. I'm still in contact with guys that trained me. I'm still watching videos. I'm still reading doctrine, so on. I'm constantly trying to improve my knowledge so that I can improve other people's knowledge. But the reason that I spend so much time doing it, training guys on it, the whole reason I started an urban combat school was because of that fact, because everybody else, well, not everybody, but majority of people's experience when it comes to CQC situations like that is, the Call of Duty-esque type stuff. And it's not necessarily that, you're dumb or, you're doing it wrong. Is you don't know better because you haven't been trained in the same way that some of us have. So a lot of people may think it's fucking stupid. Like, why would you put that much time into, training and this and that? It's a fucking video game and so on and so forth. Personally, I still look at it as, yes, it's a video game, but I have, 60 plus other guys depending on me to do a job right. And if I fuck that job up, it may get some other guy killed, which in turn gets some other guy killed, which in turn slows down the fucking team, which in turn slows down the squad, which slows down the platoon, which slows down the entire task force. So now our 2-hour mission just became a 2.5-hour mission, and Jim isn't getting his fucking supper hot because Mary had the shit done when he said he was going to be done, and now he's a half hour late because I fucked up and didn't cover my one sector.
Yeah.
That's how deep my thought goes into it. I know it's fucking stupid, but that's how far my thought goes into it. Like, everybody's giving up their free time so that I can do something that's fun for me. So I'm going to work my balls off to make sure they have fun as well.
I think for you, though, as a first sergeant, as somebody who is this passionate about it, and as someone who has made it part of your life, it takes me back to, I'll never forget the speech that I got from my tech sergeant as soon as I sewed on staff sergeant. I was a fresh NCO. I had just gone through Airman Leadership School. I had just gone through my sewing on ceremony. And my tech sergeant came to me and he said, "Sergeant Shank, come here. I want to talk to you." I hadn't known him very long. And he sat down and he said, "I'm a firm believer in a few things." He said, "The two most important people in your military career are the first supervisor you have out of the training pipe and the first supervisor you have as soon as you become an NCO." And he said, "My job is to make you the best NCO you can, or you can be." And the greatest lesson that man taught me was pride of ownership. He said, "I don't care if you are dumb about everything in the military but one thing. If that is what you are the master at, make it yours. Make it so that other service members, even other branches, come to you and say, 'Show me how to do this.'"
Yep.
And that's one of the things that, and I'm sure chat's going to call me a bromantic fucker for saying this, that's one of the things that I respect about you and your stream is some people might come in here and say you're a tryhard. Some people might say you're fake. Some people might say that you're, an Arlie Ermy wannabe, whatever the fuck they want to say.
I would
The
love
fact of
to
the matter
be.
is,
I would love to be the gunny.
a lot of people would be, I'm sure.
Yes.
But the fact that you have a following of people who come here not only for your sense of humor, but the fact that you know what you're talking about. I mean, I've watched some of your OSUT training, and it's like, I don't think there are technical manuals that can explain some of the weapon systems. Like I've heard you say in OSUT training.
Well,
I've been through the OSUT training.
To be fair, Big Black Dick of Freedom is not referenced in any FM that I'm aware of. It may be out there somewhere.
It's in the stylage and usage manual, Gunny, or Tob.
I mean, there is a lot of FMs out there. I haven't made it through all of them. Thankfully, I went through a fucking lot of them. But yeah, that one's kind of our own.
But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that they spend their lives going, oh yeah, I know this and I know that and whatever. But for you to have pride of ownership in what you do, like, that's the most impressive thing. And I mean, people can call it dumb, people can say it's a waste of time, but every single one of us is passionate enough about something in life for everybody else to say it's a waste of time. Make your waste of time beneficial not only to yourself, but those who come across it.
Yeah, for me, it used to be cars. This is a much cheaper hobby. Much, much cheaper. So, now that I've received a bit of a stroke and I'm slightly turned on now. Well, to be fair, I was turned on before.
I mean,
so
I've been erect for 2 hours and 16 minutes now.
Yeah, I know. The bottom of my desk is feeling the pain. So back to your unit. Not that unit, you sick fuckers, before you even start typing it. I know you will. So yeah. So what type of, we talked about the training program in terms of actually getting into the unit. When you said you guys are in kind of a big training cycle now, based upon your CO's assessment of your performance and kind of your build up, I guess, or your workup, I guess it would be considered. So what does that training cycle consist of for you guys? Do you select a singular training focus that, okay, tonight we're going to train on, civilian handling, tonight we're going to train on, CQC operations. Tonight we're going to train on, react to contact, or do you just kind of select a smattering of topics and just kind of do a couple at once?
It depends on the Zeus, and it depends on the night. Training throughout the week is run by Staff Sergeant Strike, and Strike does a pretty good job of shuffling the deck. Sometimes we'll do squad placement. One of the things that I've had with my unit a couple of times, and I just wanted to drop a fucking frag grenade in the middle of all of them, was squad spacing.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, our guys don't understand that a hand grenade can indeed kill more than one person. And so we've had, I've even been part of exercises where, we'll take a couple of guys are down, we're trying to administer medical care, and the Zeus drops a grenade, and the squad's done. It's a spacing issue for all of us. There's also, there are some nights that we focus on covering sectors. Some people in the unit will get kind of target lock. They'll be like, all right, you're moving to XYZ building 150 meters away. And they go straight for the building, and there's no head on a swivel.
Right.
There's no looking over your six. There's no checking your spacing on the other fire team members. We have done some hostage location and extractions. We've done we actually did one exercise that blew my fucking mind, just because our Zeus I think our Zeus kind of gave us a freebie. We had to clear out a couple locations on an island, and then he told us, we need you to bring out the enemy commander alive. So we stormed a base, we took uniforms, and basically walked in, extracted this guy, drove him a mile down the road, got out and arrested him. And then extracted him. And I was like, this shit's not going to happen this fucking easy in the real world.
Well, I will say, in terms of like spacing, that's one of the things that I address in UCS. We get on guys about spacing as well. It's a universal problem, not just in gaming. I mean, that's a problem in real world. You have to constantly keep mind of your spacing. But urban situations is the only time I'll never bust somebody's balls about spacing when they're covering sectors, because you can't cover a sector properly for your buddy if you're 10 meters behind him. You're basically just hanging that guy out to dry. But one thing or I guess three things that I pass on to the guys in UCS that is, kind of universal, no matter what kind of unit you are, no matter what you're doing. There's 3 rules to urban combat that you basically have to adhere to at all times. And the first rule is sight lines. And what I always tell the guys is the biggest enemy you face in an urban scenario is sight lines. It's not the guy shooting at you. It's not the guy trying to blow you up. Sight lines is always going to be your biggest enemy. But it's also your biggest proponent to helping you. Your enemy can use your sight lines against you, but you can use his sight lines against him. That's why, the age-old motto of infantry, find, fix, flank, eliminate, or however you want to word it, different branches word it different ways. But find, fix, flank, eliminate is easiest to do in an urban scenario, but it's also the most dangerous because there are so many threat sectors within an urban environment. So you take advantage of your sight lines. If you're on a street and somebody starts shooting at you, get the fuck off the street. It's pretty simple. Second rule that I always tell guys, wherever your eyes go, your gun goes. That's one of the things that was beat into our fucking brains. If you're looking there, your gun better be fucking pointed there, unless it's looking at your buddy. And if you're looking at your buddy, he better be down, because otherwise you should be covering your fucking sector. But that was, like I said, drilled into us. If your eyes go there, your gun goes there. Your head doesn't move without your fucking barrel. And then the third rule was always, this is more so for ArmA, but you move ready to fight. Meaning you move at combat pace when you're in an area that has a high threat level. You always have your gun up and ready to engage, so you don't have to stop to engage anything. Right. Which is why oftentimes, when guys, like when you guys see me stream and we're in an urban environment and, I'm moving along down the street and somebody at my fucking 7 o'clock starts popping shots off at me and I spin around and immediately start dumping rounds at them. Mm-hmm. That's why, because my weapon is already up. I'm ready to fight as soon as those rounds go off. And I don't know if I'm just fucking lucky or because I have good headphones or what, but I'm able to place directionally where someone is based upon gunshots pretty goddamn well. Right. And that's a huge plus within ArmA. Like, if you can hear a gunshot and know roughly where it's coming from within a few degrees, you're sitting pretty damn good. And luckily I have that capability. Yeah. So the next question I have, you said you guys are recruiting, correct?
Yeah, we're always recruiting. We'll always at least talk to people, see kind of what they're looking for and where they want to go.
And actually, I guess that kind of relates to what Yogi said here. Again, some more support coming in tonight from Yogi with a 10 spot saying, the big question that we all want to know, do they have a donkey? If you don't know what donkey is our affectionate term for an assistant gunner. Ammo bitch.
Rocket horse.
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of.
They're, because we run crew serve weapons, 240s and stuff. So, and then the CCMTs, the close combat missile teams. So they all have assistant gunners or AGs. So we call them donkeys. Even though they're, obviously their job is much more important than just carrying ammo, but they still get reduced to being donkey. So
as it is right now, like, because I'm the drone op and I'm a field drone op right now, I have carried munitions for some of the heavy gunners into the field. The only issue with that is it makes it hard when the 240 gunner is, trying to lay down suppressive fire, and I'm laying down somewhere else trying to provide 121
Right.
fire support from a Reaper.
That's actually something that I was talking to one of our guys about the other night, because we were talking about how we have to kind of differ things from real world, and a big part of that is ammunition. We don't necessarily carry realistic amount of ammunition into the field when it comes to the big guns, mostly just because of time and how slowly you would move if you did have a realistic amount of ammunition. Guys would think that 1,000 rounds between a two-man team is quite a bit of ammo. In reality, it's not. There's guys, on combat patrols that carry over 1,000 rounds on their person for 7.62. So we don't really carry all that much ammo for our machine gun teams in comparison to real life. So that's why you don't really see our 240 teams suppressing the way that you would in reality. And that's something you have to realize is, in reality, a 240 isn't really used to directly engage personnel. Don't get me wrong, it is. If you can shoot a motherfucker, you shoot him with whatever fucking weapon system you have. But more so, a 240 is used for suppressive fire until you can close the distance and eliminate them, or call in a fucking 500-pound GBU on their forehead. The 240s are used to suppress that target and keep their head down. Again, we can't really do that because we don't carry enough ammo to do that. We can't dump 1,000 rounds in a firefight, a single firefight, because that's all the ammo that team has, and that's one out of maybe 10 firefights we'll get into.
Yeah.
So, real quick, if you would for me, Shank, if you'd be kind enough to drop the link one more time in chat there for any of the guys. Again, this is for Shank's unit. They're kind of the secret squirrel, as we call them. Not the kind of line infantry unit stuff that we do. They're like I said, the secret squirrel guys, and do some pretty interesting shit. And I'm still waiting to see a stream of some of this interesting shit from Mr. Shank. Maybe considering he kind of strong-armed me tonight into buying a capture card, apparently, and now having to look at buying a fucking PS4. Maybe the guys in chat can strong-arm him into streaming some fucking ArmA operations. Just maybe.
I could probably be convinced to do that.
Uh-huh.
I'll talk to...
Have you not streamed any of your stuff yet, Shank?
Dude, I... Legitimately, this is the first time I've been on Twitch in months now. So we discussed me being disabled earlier, but I've been having a hell of a time with medications, and I'm going through some hormone treatments, and it's fucking annoying. So I am going to try to stream in the near future. I'm only recently getting the actual medications and stuff that I need to really start feeling better. So I do apologize for those who may or may not be waiting for me to stream again. It is coming.
Well, even though it's more so the medication, the fact that you're in here and talking about ArmA and potentially streaming it, I'm going to take full credit for it. So, fuck the medication. You're welcome.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, there is a link to Shank's Twitch as well. Patty, you are streaming again, correct? Maybe, possibly.
I'm streaming ArmA 3 on Sundays with Havoc 2 Task Force Bravo. I am still working on getting back into streaming other stuff during the week. Now that I'm working 2 jobs, it's a little more difficult, but
right.
Try to cut down the schedule just a little bit and be able to do maybe 4 days a week.
Right on. And then, obviously I do my normal stuff. I think we're going to kind of wrap it up here. We've been going at it for a while now. There's still more shit I want to talk about, but I also need to stuff my face, take a shower, and probably see my family at some point today. Maybe.
I would kill for a steak right now.
Shut your whore mouth. But before we do wrap it up tonight, a couple of quick things I want to go over. Again, Shank assures me he's going to start streaming ArmA. I'm assured of this. We'll all be looking forward to it. So make sure you guys go show him some love, give him a follow. Also subscribe to him unless you're not subscribed to me. In that case, subscribe to me first and then go subscribe to him.
And then subscribe to me.
Yes, and then go subscribe to Tin Man as well. But always subscribe to me first because I'm cooler. And yeah, so go check out their channels. Make sure you guys follow them. If for whatever unknown reason you think for even the slightest second you're not going to enjoy the content or whatever, believe me, you will. Patty, is streaming the 506 stuff. You guys know what that stuff is. It's always good content. As I told you guys earlier, Shank is basically the more handsome version of me. So
it's always fun watching the Weapon Squad.
Yes, they blow shit up. I mean, you can't really get mad at that.
By the way, Brewer 2-1 Alpha Donkey just opened up. Or sorry, 2-4 Alpha Donkey just opened up if you're wanted to get in on some 240.
Oh, there you go. I guess I know where I'm filling in. So yeah, make sure you go show these guys some love. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Patty will be joining me in future episodes of the podcast. He's going to be kind of my co-host or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like I told you guys earlier, I am going to get Wee-Woo's purdy ass back in here. We'll talk about what's been going on with him. It's been a while since we were, able to catch up on stream. Anyways, obviously I've talked to him, but I want to catch up with him on stream so you guys can know what's going on with him and with TSB. Obviously, his channel is growing fucking insanely quick. I cannot be happier for the kid. He deserves every bit of it. He works his fucking ass off on his Twitch and his YouTube. So I'm excited to get him back in here and just kind of catch up and see how things are going, how he's reacting to shit growing so quickly and so on. And then also, as I told you guys earlier, I am going to reach out to Forensic Steel, who you guys may have seen on the channel or in the chat a couple of times. He's fairly well known in the ArmA community, doing the Star Wars stuff. So I'm going to reach out to him and see if he would like to come on the podcast just to kind of give you guys a little bit of variety as to what's going on out there and so on and so forth. But that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I appreciate you guys being back here for the first night back. And of course, all the support you guys have shown tonight between the donations and subscriptions and follows and so on. It boggles my fucking mind that you guys are willing to sit here and listen to me run my fucking mouth for 2 to 3 hours at a time. You guys really need a better fucking hobby. Legit need a better fucking hobby because this is not like y'all need Jesus. All right. So yeah, again, thanks guys for hanging out. Shank, Patty, any last minute words from you fucking hoodlums?
Wear a condom, breathe oxygen.
Always sound advice.
Indeed. I had something. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, nope, completely gone. Train of thought.
Nope, you failed. Failed.
I thought I did have something that
I'm going to fucking
share with
NJP you just for the principle.
I thought I did have something I was going to... I thought I had something I was going to share, but what the fuck was it?
I was hoping it was your saliva, but I guess that's kind of failed now.
Shh, that's after the stream.
Oh, shit.
Good God.
If you haven't already, get your copy of Destiny 2 for free until the 18th.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And also, I did stream it a little bit, but you guys will be seeing some more Warframe. Holy fuck, that game amazed the shit out of me. I am going to be talking about that on a future podcast once I put a little bit more time into it.
Damn
And
it. Am I going to have to drag out my Trinity Prime again?
probably, because holy fuck, that
hate you
game amazed me.
sometimes.
Hey, Brewer, flat over Crest is asking about virtual race cars.
Yes, soon, hopefully. I'm kind of waiting to see what's going on with Competizione. The VR support is kind of lackluster right now. But yes, eventually we will be getting into Assetto Corsa Competizione and hopefully be doing some legit endurance races, 6+ hours. And I cannot wait for that. I'm super excited for those. Obviously, I don't have a timeline as to when that's going to happen. That's going to be up to fucking Assetto Corsa. But I am looking forward to it. The ARM is feeling good. I've been watching so many fucking race videos. You guys would not believe it, because I am ready to get back into the virtual cockpit, if you will. I need to. Go ahead.
Finish what you were saying, but I did have something I wanted to talk about.
Oh no,
briefly.
please go ahead.
So I know that there are a lot of people out there who will probably snicker when I say this. A lot of people will probably say, don't support that dev. They're a bunch of cockmongering asshats, especially after a discussion we had earlier in this broadcast tonight. For those of you who played For Honor, I sincerely recommend that you try it again if you were disappointed in it in the beginning.
I have heard they've made a lot of big improvements to it.
So Marching Fire came out last month. Marching Fire introduced the Wulin, which are Chinese martial artists. There are now 4 factions. They have a 100% training program for each individual combatant in For Honor now. You get tailored training for every single class. They have introduced a new mode called Breach, which I think was what a lot of people wanted out of For Honor in the first place.
I like breaching things, like doors,
well,
back door.
Here's the thing. So Dominion was all about capture and hold. You're just fighting on a small battlefield over a couple of points. Whoever gets the most points win.
Right.
Breach, if you are on offense, you are escorting a battering ram through a keep.
Oh, nice.
To breach through 2 massive doors. And then the last fight is all 4 of the enemy combatants and their commander, who hits like a fucking train.
Oh, that's cool. That just like instantly reminds me, even though it's a horrible fucking movie, instantly reminds me of the scene from Braveheart, when they're running the battering ram up to the fucking door. Which, speaking of which, if you guys don't know, Friday Netflix is releasing the Outlaw King. It's all about Robert the Bruce. If you don't know the story of Robert the Bruce and William Wallace and all of that, look into it a little bit. Don't think the movie is fact. It's not. The movie is touted as being one of the most historically inaccurate movies on the planet. But I'm looking forward to seeing that flick, because the story of Robert the Bruce in Scotland in that era is pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, For Honor, a lot of good improvements. Do they have it on sale or anything right now, or is it normal price right now?
Well, let me look on a couple of quick secret weapons that I have here for buying video games. The dedicated servers are also amazing.
Oh, they have dedicated servers now.
Yes, they do. They have dedicated servers now, and it's fucking lit.
Because I know that was a huge that was a huge issue at launch, was that they were using peer-to-peer.
So I am currently looking at For Honor for PC for this is the basic version. Let's see. For $17.
Oh wow. That's not bad at all.
And then I have the season pass for 26. Normally that's 52. Oh no, wait a minute. Never mind. That's not going to work.
Yeah, see, I played the demo of it. I couldn't get into it simply because my reaction times are that of a fucking geriatric on muscle relaxers. So it's not for me. I'm just not quick enough. My days of Mortal Kombat, like fucking reaction times, left me when high school did. So I just can't really do it.
Yeah, so it's for those of you who want to play a really high quality brawler that has only improved with time. For Honor is amazing. Vertigo commenting on the For Honor Starter Edition. I will explain to those who are unfamiliar with that. The Starter Edition of For Honor suffers from the same problem that the Starter Edition of Rainbow Six Siege suffers from. You have to play longer and harder to unlock new classes. The Starter Edition is basically a ploy to get people to buy the game and then either grind their ass off to unlock new classes or to just pay for the character sets in which Uplay gets their money anyway.
Right.
So if you're going to buy it, wait till it's on sale and get the standard edition. Don't hate yourself for the rest of your existence, but I highly encourage people to check out Breach. It is a massive, massive improvement to For Honor.
But Shank, what do we do if we already hate ourselves?
Yeah.
Just write a song
Drink
about
a
it.
little
That's what all of us do. Just write a fucking song about it. Be
Drink
alright.
a little more.
Be the next
Drink a little
fucking
more?
Kanye or something.
Oh God.
And yeah, so all right, as we seen in chat there, apparently Mr. Forensic Steel is down to do the podcast, so we have that to look forward to by way of Mr. Weewoo. Thanks again there, Bay. You're always looking out for me. So yeah, we have that to look forward to. We're gonna get Weewoo's ass back in here, so we can catch up. Like I said, what's been going on with him and TSB and everything. Like I said, the channel's been fucking going crazy for him. Super fucking happy for him. Very, very proud of that kid. So we'll get him back in here, talk about some things, catch up with the goat lover himself. And yeah, that's unfortunately, though, going to wrap it up for us tonight. Again, I need to eat and all of that good stuff. Thank you guys, Shank and Patty, for being here tonight. It's fucking great to be back with the podcast. I really, really miss this. And yeah, hopefully you guys had a good time. And hopefully we'll see you back here again fairly soon, Shank. And even more so, hopefully we'll see your ass streaming some ArmA here in the very, very near future.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, guys. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see all of you beautiful bastards later.